All right, so last one's going to be on me. I call this Dynamic Banner. Has anybody used the rich text standard, right? Standard component. It's cool because like it does what it does, but it totally sucks. Love Salesforce. Love you guys for giving me a job or a place to have a job. So I actually wanted to do 2 sessions here, but I wasn't going to be greedy and do 2 sessions. But the other thing I wanted to show off was something that I put together I think is just a better way to manage opportunities, at least within the scope of the companies that I've worked at. Oftentimes you go to an opportunity page and it looks like this. Or at my last company, it looks like this times about 5. And you don't know where the fields are. When the people go to mess with the fields and whatever stage they're in, well, okay, I need to fill out this field in this stage and this field in this stage and scroll down a little bit and maybe fill this one out. But then there's a validation rule and I didn't fill this one out. I forgot, so then I had to go. Anyway, I find that super frustrating. So I built this totally different way to manage opportunities. Let's just say, as a salesperson, I'm here, stage 1. I need to fill out these fields. That's it. I go to stage 2. Let's say I did whatever, I mark current stage. And now it shows the fields I need to fill in. And that's it. So that's not what I'm going to talk about here for more than that amount of time. But if anyone wants to know about that and how I built it out, it's just using dynamic forms and a little bit of savvy. It's super cool. One thing that made it better, though, the sales team that was happy that I implemented this, wanted to include things like this. They wanted to have some buying signals. They wanted to have some information about, in this stage, what should you be doing? Let me try to zoom a little bit. And so this is the dynamic banner. The reason I call it dynamic is that it can do a few things that the normal rich text component can't. As you can see, first of all, I can collapse it like you can with an accordion, whatever. But also, it is HTML. That part rich text can also do, well, somewhat anyway. But you can have a lot of compatible HTML in here. It's not compatible with everything because Lightning Web Components just aren't compatible with all HTML. But clearly you can do lists. You can collapse. You can decide if it's going to start as collapsed or not. Really though, the simplest and most functional thing I think it can do, there's actually 2. One is just that you can put colors in it. Rich text can't. You can have a colored font, but you can't have a colored background. So if I want to have some sort of visual separator on my page, if I want to have something that really pops at the top because an alarm should be going off about this account, I really can't. And I found that frustrating. So I'm going to go build another example right now. There's the other thing that I wanted to point out that this can do. Like I said, it's dynamic. So it can actually take information. Sorry, rich text should be able to do this. It can't. It can take information from this record or from related records and put that into the text. And that was an option that is just sorely, sorely missing from the standard component. So let me demonstrate what that means in case it wasn't super clear. All right. So maybe at the very top of the page, I want to point out something about this account. What did I call it? Dynamic banner? That's the one? All right, so I'll put this right at the top. It's so important. OK, so the default example that comes in here is that this is name. The idea is to show you how you insert information. So again, we're going to use SOQL-like notation. So I could show the account name. Obviously, oh, this one doesn't even have an account. All right, forget that. I'm actually going to change that because I want to show this off. Let's go into like this one. All right, starting all over. So this is my opportunity, but I can put information about the account directly into it. This is edge communications. Or I could say something like, this ops account is, and I've got a formula field that recognizes the size of it based on annual revenue. Right? So if the annual revenue is huge, 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 it'll be huge. Or it could be medium, or it could be small, or whatever. I could then put in something like this. I could, is it too small? Oh, but I'm going to make the other thing bigger and that page smaller. How do I? Yeah. The merge field here is just account.size with your underscore on it. Oh, yeah. So sorry, that's super important. Yes, double tilde on the left and the right. I wanted to make sure I didn't use something that anyone, I don't know, there's a lot of different options. I almost decided to make it editable, but I didn't. So okay, I want another line, and this could be like, oh my gosh. I promise I'm hitting letters. All right. The annual revenue, which I totally can't type, is, and then we do the same thing. We do the double tilde, and we just say account dot annual revenue. So that's super neat. It doesn't format it like Salesforce formats it, but whatever, you can make a formula field that does that. You can change your background color to be stuff that's recognizable by, by Chrome. So this could just be Alice blue. It doesn't have to be, well, that's really hard to see. It could be coral, right? You can also change font size, you can change font color, you can change font alignment. I showed you that you can do HTML to do other things. So I can even, if for some reason I want the word account to be its own special color, which isn't something that's built right into the app, but I happen to know HTML, then I can do this. Style equals, and we'll say color is blue, I guess. Actually, obviously, I'm a much bigger fan of hot pink. All right. So then I just end my HTML, and you can see that's adjusted. It's super hard to see, but you get the point. You can add border to it. You could set the border stuff. In the example that I showed you down here, I showed that you can do two. Maybe you want to. Maybe you want them to be in a column, maybe you want to be in a row, but the second one just has its own extra set of all the exact same stuff you did at the top. If I go into this, it'll be easier to show you a little bit because it's already configured. So this already has two items. It's already collapsed, but if I don't want it to start collapsed, I can just tell it, don't start collapsed, and it'll be automatically expanded. I could say that I actually want them to be stacked on top of each other by putting them in a column instead of a row. And I showed you that dynamic piece with moving words in from the records and from related records up parent level. You can't go down to children because it wouldn't know which one to use, but you can go up to a parent record. That's it. I think this is super useful and awesome. You can also use this in some other special ways. Like you could put no text in it at all or just put a space character or something and just have a gray separator bar because you want to separate this content from this content. So it acts kind of like a horizontal rule would be in a web page, but like in a more colorful, I don't know, spatial way. Anyway, maybe you'll be creative and use it in other ways I didn't think of either. So that's it. That's all we're going to show off today. I was the last one. I'd like to see a hand if you found two of these that you think I definitely want to use this right away. Two or more, right? And just one. If there's at least one that like really got you, I'm excited I went to this session. Yes, seeing a lot of hands. I'm so excited to see that you guys are going to get some utility out of this. So here's the QR code. It just goes to my GitHub, but that GitHub will then point you to other people's GitHub. I just wanted to compile them all in one place. This way you can find us. You can find our LinkedIn if you have questions about it. On a couple that I worked on, there's some good instructions, maybe, kind of. On others, there aren't. You're welcome to email me or contact me. Thank you to all of the presenters. Angie and Jordan and Jaleel and Jimmy, I appreciate it very much. If you're a developer and you want to contribute to this, and I'm allowed to do this again next year,
we'll see.
Then contact me. It's surprisingly hard to find people who have some cool stuff that they want to show off on a stage. So feel free to reach out. Thanks, everybody.
Don't you go anywhere. You stay right there. So we got a few minutes. Does anyone have any questions for Alon?
Ask questions. I totally forgot.
I know. Does anyone have any questions? Raise your hand. We got a question. Do we have a mic? We have a runner. This is all planned in advance, so we're just. There we go. Here we go. Right there in the blazer. I'm assuming it could be a long coat. I have no idea.
This is why I don't wear heels ever.
On your banner, dynamic banner, can you have that be dynamic such that it would show up for certain certain data elements and not for others?
You mean just under certain conditions?
Yeah, like if you had an opportunity of a certain stage, then it shows up versus maybe it doesn't?
Yeah, absolutely. But that has nothing to do with my component. You would just use the standard visibility filters for that.
Okay,
And that would completely do that job.
awesome.
Anything else? Doesn't have to be for me. It can be for all of these other folks too. We can get them a mic. No? All right, well, you know where to get it. And if you do use it and you want to tell me about it, what's broken or what's awesome, please do that.
All right. Thank you to all the amazing things that you can now use to make your lives better. And you can all take credit for them because, no one's going to know. So yeah, we got a few minutes and then come back for formulas and life hacks for the everyday admin with Steve Moe. About 15 minutes. Thank you.